morning, students. Today again we are going to discuss the last topic of social science, that is social change. The name of the chapter is social change. The last topic that we are going to discuss today is first, that is National Food Security Act, that was established in 2013. Second, that is the objectives of food security bill, and the third, that is the legal provisions, right? Before going to today's topic, we are going to discuss the previous topic that we did earlier in the previous sessions. First one, that is the efforts of abolishing child labor. You know what is child labor, what were the efforts were being made by the government to abolish child labor. Second is protecting the elderly people. Third is what is an antisocial activities. Fourth is what is corruption, what are the steps that are to be taken for corruption. Fifth, how to stop corruption activities. Next, right to information act. Next, how to obtain the information, right? Next is provisions for appeal and fine, and next, law regarding free education. These are the topics that we have discussed in the previous sessions. Those students who have not watched, right, please subscribe, please go to the YouTube website and do watch all these topics that I have given and presented in detail, and keep your textbook with you. Today we are going to discuss three topics that are the last three topics of chapter number 21. Before we begin, please make a note. Okay, moving towards today's topic, right? The three topics that we are going to discuss. First is National Food Security Act 2013. Second, objectives of food security bill, and the third one is legislative provisions. Take out your textbook, page number 186. National Food Security Act 2013. RTF, right to food security. That is, food security means every person gets nutritious food for remaining active and for healthy life, and this procurement of food. This bill was implemented on 5th July 2013 by the central government, right? Please underline that statement. This bill was implemented by central government, not by the state government, by the central government on 5th July 2013. That is all about National Food Security Act. What is its aim? What are its objectives? Let's look into the textbook again. There are 5 points given. Number 1, to satisfy the demand of food of the increasing population of the country. Other than this, ensuring quality and quantity of food and providing it at the low rate. The main objective is to satisfy the demand of the food of the increasing population. One of the biggest criteria that India is facing today is population rise. There are many people who are starving, who does not have the food to eat. That is why this bill was being passed in 5th July 2013 by the central government, so that the basic necessity food should be reaching to the people who are poor with quality at low rate. With quality at low rate. Point number 2, to curb malnutrition. Malnutrition means people who does not get meals 2 times a day. Those people are under malnutrition. Those people who cannot satisfy their hunger, who cannot satisfy their basic needs. Look into the point again. To curb malnutrition among people and children, important steps should be taken and encouragement should be given to increase production of nutritious food. Right? There are many people, right, who are suffering from malnutrition. Those kind of people and children should be taken and should be given to, in the terms of nutritious foods, and increase demand in terms of nutritious food, so that they can live healthily. Point number 3, to make public distribution system very strong, transparent and simple. When you are distributing such kind of foods, right, it should be in simple way, it should be transparent, each record should be maintained, right? Each and every person should get proper amount of quantity of quality food. then only they can survive. This is one of the most important thing that has been established by the central government in the year 2003, that is National Food Security Act. Point number 4, to provide food security to the families, those who are in top order of Antyodhya Yojana and BPL, that is below poverty line list, and to stipulate nutritious food in proper quantity, nutritious food in proper quantity at reasonable rates. Food should be given to each and everyone who is in need, should be provided with proper quantity and quality at concessional rates, right? And the last point, that is point number 5, to help the pregnant women and feeding mothers to get the nutritious food. There are many families in India today, right, who does not have the basic money, who does not have the proper amount of nutritious food that they can survive today. So especially this act has been established for such kind of people. Think about the particular pregnant woman, the small babies, the mothers of small babies. They are you know in much need of the nutritious food. So government has seen all this criteria and made this act to give a proper amount of nutritious food to all the people who are in need at concessional rates, right? There is nothing new about this topic. Special points have been given. You have to remember as it is given in the textbook, right? Next, because they are the objectives. They are the objectives, and once the objectives have been defined by the government, right, you have to remember the points stepwise. Next topic, that is some legislative provisions. According to this act and Ma Annapurna Yojana, to the needy middle class, poor families, urban and rural areas are provided grains at subsidized rate, right? I'm repeating that point again. According to this act, right, there are some legislative provisions being made by the government. What are the points? That is Ma Annapurna Yojana, that is the particular name of the scheme, right? According to this act, needy middle class poor families of urban and rural areas, of both urban and rural areas, are provided grains, are provided grains at subsidized rate, that means at concessional rates. The Antyodhya families are given 35 kgs of grains free of cost. 35 kgs of grain free of cost. Those families who are in need of this kind of situation arises in their particular area or in their society or in their families are being given 35%, or you can say 35 kgs of grain free of cost. Second provision made by the government is, as per this law, that is as per the scheme under Ma Annapurna Yojana, beneficiaries can buy wheat at 2 per kg, rice 3 per kg, and coarse grain, that is at 1 per kg, in fixed quantity and at fixed time. Good quality grains is also provided under public distribution system on fixed conditions. All the things which are mandatory are being planned step by step by the government to provide all the kinds of nutritious food to the families each and every day, so that they can live their life healthily at concessional rate, at concessional rates. And the rates has been also decided by the government, has been also been decided by the government, keeping all the people into consideration, poor, very poor, and extremely poor. Next, at the time of maternity, central government would pay rupees 6,000 as a help to mother. Those ladies who are pregnant and during their maternity time, if they don't have sufficient amount of funds, it is the responsibility of the government, or actually we can say it is an activity done by the government, that pays 6,000 rupees to each and every mother, right? But there is some legal procedure, that is what we have to follow, and that amount would be credited into your bank account, right? Next, according to this bill, food security allowance would be given to the beneficiaries in the place of grains. According to this bill, right, in legislative provisions, security allowance, that means the amount of security fund that a person requires, would be given to the beneficiaries in place of grains. In place of grains, that means if you have sufficient amount of wheat or any particular grains, and you don't require all these activities or all these foods, right, instead of that you will be given a specific amount decided by the government. If you don't require the food, right, if you don't require the food, you have sufficient quantity of food at your doorstep, and at that point of time certain amount decided by the government would be given to you as an security, as an security in place of grains, in place of grains, right? Next, as per this act, every mother, sugar, iodized salt, kerosene and edible oil twice a year are provided at subsidized rates by Gujarat government to Antiodia and BPL families through the ration shops, right? All these things which are the basic necessities of a poor people, that is sugar, salt, kerosene, oil, all these facilities are being given by the government so that a man can survive, so that a man can survive, a family can survive, a child can survive. This is all about social change, right? All these things are being planned by the government for the benefits of those people whose life is very difficult, whose life is very difficult. And why all these schemes are being developed by the government? To stop child labor, to stop the activities which disturbs the child, stops the development of a child, right, makes the nation weak. So these are the schemes that are specially been made by the government so that a child and family is protected. They'll get the basic needs decided by the government, so that if they will stay nutritious, they'll be healthy, and they'll study, they'll get the education, and they'll bring their families up. This is the motto of the government, the objective of the government, right? Next, state government would update list of rich leading families and improve upon and list of these families. So state government is listing all the families. Name of women in the family will be publicly displayed in Gram Panchayat, Gram Sabha, Ward Sabha, E-Gram or fair price shops, or effective of executive magistrate in websites of supply department. State government will be updating the list of rich people, the list of rich people and families, and improve upon, and this list of families, right, will be publicly displayed in in different areas, that is Gram Panchayat, Gram Sabha, E-Gram and fair price shop. So people who are in need does not need to go to some other villages, does not need to go some big cities. They'll read the name of those people who are rich in their own area, so they can get the money easily from there, and it will be announced by the state government. See, read the first line again. State government would update list of rich leading families and improve upon, and list of these families will be publicly displayed, will be publicly displayed. These are some legislative provisions made by the government for the benefits of people, for the benefits of society, for the benefits of human, and for the survival, for the survival. Last 2 points of the chapter, page number 187. Steps like biometric identity, epic card, barcode, ration card or food coupons and taking image with web camera have been started to improve and strengthen public distribution system in order to make distribution system corruption free, right? As this schemes has been started by the government, there are some negative sides also. A coin has always two sides, right? So where there is certain thing, in terms of positive, there are always certain negative factors that are going to affect the project, that are going to affect the schemes, right? So government is even much more smarter. So what does the government do? They specially make the identity card of those people, the barcode, that is what they print on the particular packets, ration card in which the name of the families are mentioned, food coupons, right? So that the same people cannot enter twice into the shop for food grains, right? So food coupons and taking image with the web camera that works as a proof that this person came to the shop and took all these grains at this amount of price, right? Or else what would happen? The same person would be coming again in the name of some another person, if you don't have any identity proof, and would be taking the grains and selling to someone else in the market at the XYZ price. So this would be increasing. To stop all these activities, government has decided and developed the special identity card, ration cards, and when the particular people enter into the government shops to buy the food grains, special web cameras have been developed so that the image can be captured and kept it as a record, right? Next, under this bill, internal complaint preventive mechanism has to be set up with a view to removal of complaints. Nodal officer has been appointed for regulation and control of grain distribution, right? One particular officer in charge, that is known as the nodal officer, who has been appointed, who has to take care of each and every activity going on over there, right? And for the regulation and control of grain distribution, he has to check whether the grains are being given in justified quantity as well as quality, right? So a nodal officer has been appointed by the government to hear the complaints of the people. For the purpose of complaining, Rajya Ann Ayog to be set up in state and food commissioner has to be appointed. Even one food commissioner has to be appointed to see whether all the activities in different states are going on as per the schemes of the government, as per the legislative provisions of the government. Or else what would happen? They would take the quantity of food grains at a cheaper price and would sell it to someone else in the market at a higher price. So again that would lead to corruption. Again that would lead to corruption. So to stop all these activities, to stop all these corruption activities, government has specially made a nodal officer and particular food commissioner to check various activities in different states. Thus, under various provisions of National Food Security Act, as per Ma Annapoorna Yojana, approximately 3.62 crores. Underline that statement. Under this scheme, Ma Annapoorna Yojana, approximately 3.62 crores needy citizens are provided grains at concessional rate. Are provided grains at concessional rates. Such type of welfare schemes have been implemented by different states of different governments. The basic aim of this social change is to provide the basic facilities to humans who are in need of different things at different point of times for their survival. And when we provide all these things, when we make aware all these things, we are bringing a social change. We are bringing an social change. Just imagine if the government does not help any kind of the poor people or any kind of people who are needy, who wants certain things for their own survival, what would be the condition of our country? It is actually the government who is keeping a balance between a rich and a poor people. They charges tax from the rich people, and the amount of money that has been paid in the terms of tax is distributed to the poor people in the terms of different schemes, so that they'll be getting the money, they'll be getting financial rewards, they'll be getting food grains so that they can survive. Government is working as a balance factor between a rich and a poor people. They are trying to implement constantly new schemes, new ideas, new projects, so that they would bring or uplift the weaker section of the society to the higher section, so they can survive and improve the standard of living. This is all about chapter number 21, that is social change. And finally, I would like to give you a suggestion. It becomes our responsibility also as a member of Indian citizen, that if we find something wrong happening in the society, if we find poor people who are in need of certain things, we should give them. For example, clothes. There are certain clothes at your own house, right, which might not fit you, but those people who are in need, we need to give them all those things. That how we can help the other people, and that is how we can bring a social change. We should pay the tax properly. If certain people is not aware of anything, we should help them. We should stop child labor. We should consider each and everyone equal. We should not judge anyone on the basis of scheduled caste or scheduled tribe or any other caste, whomsoever it is. Everyone are equal. If we start judging people on the names, on the caste, we are not able to bring the social change that we need. That would lead to groupism. So we should stop all these activities, look on the positive sides, try to help each other, try to aware each other about the laws, about the regulations, about the provisions made by the government, so that they'll be able to develop themselves, they'll be able to survive by themselves, they'll be getting all the benefits by the government. And this is how we can bring social change. I hope the concepts are clear. And here we end your chapter number 21, that is social change. Thank you.